Hey guys, first phase of lockdown is over. We are stepping into the second phase of it. So another 15-20 days to go. I thought quickly of doing something very different from the usual stuff that I keep doing. This time I wanted to go into the business side of comic publishing and distributing. By that I mean I wanted to show you guys what exactly are these businesses doing, right? Ultimately for them two things matter. Number one, their revenue or sales of the overall books that they are putting it out there. Number two is their profit margin, right? And the profit margin obviously they increase by increasing the value of comic books and a bunch of other stuff. They publish the same storylines in different format, which I will cover in another video. Now the problem is there are only a few artists and writers who are top of the line, and they get the most premium book, right? Case in point is Death of the Family by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, which was a runaway success in the New 52 line of comics. Now they can only do so much because you can't stretch them and publish multiple character storylines in parallel, right? So they have different writers and artists for other parallel New 52 tracks like Aquaman, Justice League, Red Hood, Catwoman, etc. So the one thing they do is there could be an anchor character and anchor storyline, which happens to be here in Death of the Family. It's a brilliant storyline and it had the anchor character of Batman. So they knew for sure this book line of books are going to get picked up by the comic book fans alike, right? And that it will be the biggest sale book in that year. Now what they did, I'm sure that you guys would have seen this book. The art in it is fantastic. The story is brilliant. And this is something which for anybody who has not picked it up, I would definitely recommend that. But what they did was they published a set of tie-in stories along with this around all the other bad characters which were out there, including of course Joker. Now what I have in my hand is like a semi-omni kind of book which has all the other tie-in stories in it. Obviously, the reason why the fans will pick it up is because the main storyline is too good that they want to read more about the tie-ins there, right? Now, if you start looking at it, you will start seeing what I'm trying to say. The part one story is, of course, Batman, but from the second onwards, like if you look at it, the second one is about Catwoman, and it follows the same storyline. It is related to the Death of the Family, and that's why it's called a tie-in. So all this leads up to the main event, which is covered in the book I showed you earlier. Now this is by Catwoman. We have one by there is the next one with Harley Quinn. So part 3 is Harley Quinn. Then we will go forward. We will see Batgirl, right? So that's Batgirl, and then we'll go forward and you will start seeing who is next. This is still Batgirl. And by the way, I am not complaining about any of the stories. I simply love it and I obviously would want to pick up more of this. Next one is Red Hood and Red Robin, right? So, and it also covers Nightwing, it covers Damian Wayne, right? So these are all the the tie-in issues that comes into this to the main event, and that's what I'm talking about, right? The reason what they did is then they will start cross-marketing all these other parallel storylines with the main book and say that, hey guys, to understand the whole plot for you guys, it's best to pick up all these other issues, right? So using the central character, which is Batman, now they've marketed the entire set of 6. This is the 7th character storyline which I'm talking about. I think there is one more, which is the conclusion, which is the main storyline, of course. So what they've done is using a central character and putting Joker as the thread between all the characters, because he interferes with their lives and picks them off one by one to set up that final conclusion for Batman. And that's where the tie-ins come into play. Now a customer who is going and purchasing this book will start purchasing each of these tie-in issues. So instead of selling one book for maybe let's say $4, they would have sold 8-9 books for a single storyline. Obviously these are all done by different authors and writers, but still, because there is a central plot tying it all together, it works, right? And that's something which they did quite often. Now many of the normal comic book fans, they will just pick up the main storyline and read it and try to avoid all this tie-in issue. But some of the hardcore fans will definitely pick this up, right? And that's where the sales rocket, the profit margins rocket. Case in point, this is not something which DC had done recently, or Marvel. Marvel is also doing the same thing. DC had done this in the past as well. For example, you could see the Night Quest series, which has there is a run-in of Batman, which has the Nightfall, Night Quest, Night Send, all this series going. And in parallel, at the same time, they also had what do they have? They had the Detective Comics featuring Batman, right? Now the slight changes, if you guys will observe, there is Detective Comics featuring Batman, and of course the Batman storyline. So the storyline usually alternated between these two, ensuring that the fans will pick up both of this, right? So instead of one, you are selling two. DC extended that in New 52 line, where they extended to, let's say here, for example, 8 characters, right? Means if you want to understand the entire arc of it, pick up all those storylines, right? So that is something which I'm showing as the business aspect. Now recently the Metal series had come up, and now currently what is happening is there is a dark multiverse series which is ongoing in DC, and there are a lot of one shots coming out from that line, which are all tie-ins to the dark multiverse, right? I have one here which is dark multiverse Batman Nightfall. Now a bit of this also brings out a lot of old stories, old most prominent stories of these characters in the dark multiverse era, right? So that's another layer getting added. Now these are all stuff this comic books printers and publishers try to do and to boost their sales, right? So this is the number one video. I have a lot of other such videos to show you what are the different kind of business things which these guys are doing. I hope this is something of interest to you guys, and please do share your feedbacks and thoughts if you guys have come across something similar. I think that will be something really useful for all the fans out there who are on YouTube and watching these videos. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.